Welcome back to our next panel, the smart meter rollout as blocker to future use cases. How can we leverage partnerships and new technologies to find ways to accelerate the smart meter rollout and enable advanced use cases that are critical to the energy transition? Joining me, we have three experts on this panel. First, we have Stephan Köslin. Stephan is the managing director at BlueMetering. He began his career in energy-focused management consulting before moving to Brunata Matrona, where he established competitive metering point operations as a product manager. After furthering his expertise in metering at a major energy supplier, he returned to the Brunata Matrona to lead the smart metering business unit before coming to BlueMetering, where he oversees strategic development. Joining him, we have Ingo Schönberg. Ingo, founder and CEO of Power Plus Communications, has over 15 years of experience driving innovation in the energy sector, collaborating with utilities, tech providers, startups, and research institutions. A strong advocate for smart metering gateways as a foundation for a sustainable energy future, Ingo is dedicated to advancing the energy transition through secure, customer-centric solutions. And then finally, we have Merlin Lauenburg. Merlin is a leader in the energy tech space and is dedicated to transforming the German energy sector as part of Tibber by empowering customers with smart energy solutions that lower costs and carbon footprints. With expertise in market analysis and business scaling, he previously built a portfolio of climate-focused companies at Wiesmann and founded Förderprofi to streamline energy-efficient grant applications. So thank you to all of you for joining me today. And we will start the panel off with a question for Stephan. Stephan, why are smart meters so crucial to the energy transition and for the new HEMS use cases that emerge with it? Stephan, you might be muted. Oh.
You mean now? Okay. Is it okay? So, I think the importance of smart meters for the energy transition are crucial because they enable a more efficient and flexible energy system by providing the data. So also they facilitate the digitization of the whole energy industry. So yeah, well, it's a crucial part of the transition right now. I think the benefits for HEM systems or for the home energy management systems, they enhancing the HEM systems by providing real-time on energy consumption. So also the data allows the energy usage of the homes. And also the customers can optimize their consumption. Also, if they are they have smart tariffs, and so they can optimize their costs and also their energy usage, which makes the HEMS more important for their usage, not only just to steer some utilities. Yeah, well, I think that's it. For a short.
Okay. And then, Ingo, what have been the different facets of blockers around the smart meter rollout, and how do they vary by region?
Of course, first of all, we have to state there is not this one single smart meter all over Europe. Yeah. Everything started more or less in Italy 20 years ago with a more or less dumb meter, which was able to collect some data and to send it to the backend, not with a big value for the service providers and for the network operators. The second generation we see, for example, in UK, where market integration happens with variable tariffs, the usage of quarterly hour values. And what we see now in the third step, and this is a kind of a migration of the smart meter rollout in Europe, is now a full market as well as a network grid operation integration. And that's what we are doing here in Europe, in Germany, that we are going for smart meter gateway, which enables quarterly hour reads, even let's say with a higher resolution reads are possible, as well as a integration of the energy transition plans to the network grid operation, which is very important. And based on this, of course, we have to add a lot of cybersecurity to the infrastructure because we are operating in a critical infrastructure. And so we are now at a level that we have a full smart grid rollout here in Germany. And to state, there we are ahead of the rest of Europe. Even with a smart meter deployment, it could be faster for sure. But let's say easy applications like quarterly hour reads are possible today. It's not a problem. The full integration of remote control will need some additional, let's say, implementations in the back end. But I guess this is the most advanced structure we are going for here in the German infrastructure.
Do you think that the strategies for encouraging consumers to adopt and trust smart meter technology, do you think that at least differs by region?
Yes, of course. There are always two sides of the same coin. Let's say one side is what is the value which is created. Yeah, the value which is very straightforward for energy transition generation plants, for example, that you are able to integrate in the grid. Yeah, you have to get the permission to integrate them and to connect them to the grid. The other ones are variable tariffs, how to, let's say, bring flexibilities to the market. This is one side of the coin. The other side of the acceptance is, of course, privacy and security. Privacy is obvious when you have detailed data from your private home. Nobody wants that these data are distributed. The other one is if you're going to a real smart grid with remote control, security, cybersecurity is absolutely key for the acceptance, because otherwise there's always a risk that there is an attack to the private installations in the private home with all the costs following up and all the damage which can be caused. So acceptance has multiple, let's say, impacts, and that's the reason why we think that especially cybersecurity and privacy is absolutely key.
Okay, and then it's actually interesting that you brought up the German smart meter rollout just a moment ago, because my next question was for Merlin, and it's that within the energy sector in Europe, most people know Germany as having one of the worst smart meter rollouts in Europe. And so I was wondering if you knew what factors contributed to this and how might they be mitigated?
So yeah, if we zoom out, we are not in a very great position in Germany when it comes to the smart meter rollout. Around 800,000 households in Germany have a smart meter. That is about 2% of the total number of households, and that is far behind many of our European neighbors, like for example Norway, the home market of Tibber, where we already have almost 100% smart meter coverage. So I think it's safe to say that we have a lot of work ahead of us there. What has contributed to this development? I think it's some of the classic culprits in Germany. Bureaucracy, overregulation. We had very unpragmatic regulation when it comes to how smart meters have to be transported to the home. Luckily, this has been now addressed to a certain extent. We have also had many topics around data privacy, of course, and here I 100% agree with Ingo that data privacy is key for this critical infrastructure. But at the same time, from our perspective, we still need, or we should take a pragmatic approach to it, and treat the data that we process through a smart meter the same way as in other areas of our life, right? And that's not really something we've been seeing, and where we basically also see a bit more of a pragmatic approach in our home markets, but generally in all other European markets. But Germany is just very has its own ideas around data privacy for sure. And then obviously also the rule that we previously had that all three manufacturers of smart meters, intelligent metering systems had to have the same development level certified independently of each other. The three manufacturer rule definitely did not help much, but also here we have been seeing some progress.
Okay, and then this next question is still to you. If the problem of installing smart meters were solved, what other hurdles or challenges are there before end customers can really benefit from dynamic tariffs and other future use cases? Are all the players in the value chain already capable of dealing with the new infrastructure, such as with smart meters?
No, so I mean, you don't necessarily today have to deal with the smart meter. I think if we have a smart meter in the household that enables hourly billing and dynamic using a dynamic tariff and benefiting of flexibility as an individual, then that is a very good first step. And then basically to maximize the value of that, we obviously need steerable devices in that home that are able to shift consumption to times when prices are low, right? And does every existing heat pump and smart meter, and EV or battery have a perfect condition for being steered intelligently today? Probably not. But that's of course where also smart home energy systems come into play, and where we also have a big opportunity in using local home energy systems like the ones of gridX. To also integrate older devices, older steerable devices, and maximize their value basically for the customer by allowing for flexibility.
Okay. And then, Ingo, how can partnerships with technology providers accelerate the deployment of smart meters? And can energy players across the value chain align incentives to drive faster smart meter implementation?
I think a close cooperation between, let's say, the partners along the value chain is obvious that it's needed. Yeah, we want all to create value. It's value for the end customer. It's value for the network operator, the grid network operator, and therefore partnership, and especially to test together, to create interoperability, and to develop joint solutions for the end customer or for the network operator is a must-have. Yeah. It starts at the front end with a customer like gridX, for example, systems from the HEM side. It goes over the smart meter gateway, the systems down to the back-end system, the metering operator, who are, let's say, dealing with all, let's say, the applications and all the use cases around the building. So cooperation is a must-have, and this will accelerate for sure.
And Stephan, what partnerships, in your opinion, are essential to overcoming the hurdles in the smart meter rollout?
Yeah, as Ingo said, I think the partnerships are essential for the rollout, especially for like the partnership with governmental and regulatory bodies like the BSE or the BMWK, where the regulation is implemented. Also, with customers and energy advocacy groups like the BDW, where you can put the experiences from the rollout, from the market into the political process, and also take on the customer needs into the process. But right now, the main partnerships are with utility companies and installers. That's the bottleneck of the market right now. As we said previous, the installation is there are not enough installers to get the rollout done. And also the installation process is really complicated. It's getting now a little bit better, but you have to handle certain topics around the security process, and that's the bottleneck. And with partnerships, you can make the installations better. You can put them together, and they can turn one round and install more smart meters by time. And for this, the partnerships are essential for the rollout.
And then just to clarify, you meant that the partnerships that exist right now are between utility providers and installers, or those are the partnerships that need to happen?
They are existing right now, but not enough. There should be more existing, because right now we see in the market there are some boundaries, and they have to overcome, and they have to partner more, like right now.
Okay, got it. And then Ingo, how can smart meters enable advanced use cases such as dynamic pricing and demand response?
Of course, first of all, I guess we need three points which are very important for an advanced smart metering system. The first one, it has to be smart grid ready. So it means we need to have real-time access to the building. We need to have real-time access for remote control of systems. The second one is this is only possible if you have a broadband connectivity of the smart metering system. In most parts of Europe, we do have only a narrow-banded communication, which is not sufficient for advanced use cases. And the third pillar is, of course, as already said, cybersecurity and privacy is a must-have. Otherwise, there will be no acceptance and no, let's say, usage within a critical infrastructure.
Okay, and then Stephan and Merlin, what would be your thoughts on this?
Merlin?
So I would say here, Ingo and Stephan are the specialists, but I can only support Ingo's statements in this matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. About use cases for dynamic tariffs and demand response, I think that's one of the key roles of the smart meters. As Ingo mentioned, the smart meters in Germany is not only to provide data for the HEM systems or for the pricing, but also for the grid. And it's only in Germany, for whole Europe, that we can steer up with the smart meters the energy system. So that's the key role, and that's why it's so complicated to install. But these are not the only use cases that will be in the future, because when you can steer and measure the data, even for the grid, then the HEM system get more value to the customer, because you can provide the capacity not only for the pricing for the user. They can not only optimize their prices and their costs, but also the network operator can optimize their grid and lower their big costs what they have for the energy transition.
Okay. And then actually, Stephan, maybe for any of our viewers who don't know, how do smart meters facilitate the integration of renewable energy sources into the grid?
Yeah, as I said, the smart meters should provide nearly real-time data, and so you can the energy production and consumptions you can measure, and that allows the utilities to monitor the energy flows, especially for the renewable energy, such as solar and wind. And so they can optimize their grid. Also, there are the demand response programs where the utilities can communicate with the customers, and they can optimize their prices. This like the dynamic tariffs, they can incentivizing the customers if they are shifting consumptions to another time. That's one point, and the third point, as I said, they can enhance the whole grid management, not only by providing the data, but also by steering the grid. Yeah, and for this, the integration of the renewable energy systems is much more better, because the grid can handle the new power plants, especially wind and solar, and their production. So this demand response, I think, is the key role of the smart meters, and also the steering in the future.
Maybe I can say a little bit more about dynamic tariffs and demand response, because that's basically central to our offering, right? So how it works already, right? With a six-digit number of customers in Germany today, but over 1 million users of Tibber in globally, let's say, is that we show today's and tomorrow's prices on an hourly basis to the customer, and then we allow the customer to integrate his or her steerable devices like EVs, and then their consumption will automatically be shifted to times where the prices are low, which is usually, of course, also when we have a rather high share of renewables in the grid. And this would not be able without, this will not be possible without smart meters and without a high resolution consumption tracking at all. So this is, of course, the biggest infrastructural enabler.
Okay, and then Merlin, actually, then maybe you can speak upon what are the critical technologies needed to maximize the value of smart meters in energy systems?
So I would say smart devices, right? Devices that can be steered accordingly to price signals, like especially EVs and heat pumps and home batteries, but also PV systems, right? As soon as we have the price signal from the energy price, but also now starting in April of next year, combined with the variable grid fee, and we use that to automatically optimize the consumption of these large steerable devices. We can maximize the value for a customer and very clearly show a strong monetary benefit compared to the average fixed tariff. In the Nordics, we have studies showing that the benefit of smart charging, so charging your EV intelligently based on these price signals, is about 20%. But there we also have less volatility in the electricity prices. In Germany, we have more volatility, as we've also seen in the past weeks, and that enables even higher cost savings, right? If you're able then to shift your consumption to the times with the lowest prices and avoid the high prices. So I would say that's a very, very big part of it. But of course, not everybody has a single-family home with an EV with an own wall box. So I think we also have to think about use cases for a wider part of a market, right? For Tibber, we have also integrated household systems like dishwashers and washing machines and dryers. We've integrated the OEM Bosch Siemens home appliances obviously, you're not going to save hundreds of euros per year, if you steer your dishwasher efficiently. But what we believe in is showing more people a use case for using dynamic tariffs, and educating the market about the benefits. And if you get the principle for these smaller consumption devices that everybody has, like a washing machine, then you will also understand the potential value if you then later on decide to get a EV.
And then Stephan and Ingo, what would be your thoughts on this? What critical technologies do you two think that we need to maximize the value of smart meters and energy systems?
I think the system of the future, if you go to 2030, how will the system look like? We will have in each basement of a building an energy management system and a smart meter gateway. This will be the two core components of the future energy systems. And of course, we have to connect the devices of the end customers, means we need to have a standard to connect all the different devices within the building. In the German market, we are going now for EE-bus, which has become a quite popular standard here. And this is key. Interoperability is key, and to use mass data, and this is not only the local system, it's also the backend system to make something out of the data.
Yeah, from the technology side, I would agree with both. But I think the system right now we have would be also good for the future, because the key role, or the key points, is the data providing and the steering, and also for the maximize for the value and for the new use cases. I think there will be not only the energy exchange price, because it's only one part of the energy price. I think there will be also some kind of network bottleneck price, because that's the other part of the energy prices, and that would be also a key part of the smart meters and the HEMS systems to optimize network bottlenecks. And they would be they will have a really high price, because otherwise the network operators have to build up and enhance their grids. And if you can enhance the grids by data, it's much more efficient, like providing it by building it for real.
And then, Ingo, how can data from smart meters be leveraged for predictive maintenance and operational efficiency?
Yeah, as said, we are dealing now with mass data. The reason is we have in let's say in the German infrastructure, we have a broadband connectivity to the smart metering system, and this means we can get informations even on a level of seconds from the system. And of course, this is of high value for maintenance systems, and it's of high value also for optimization of operation in the networks. And it's not only the operation question, it's also a question of optimizing investments in the network. Because the most important, let's say, target what we have with the deployment of smart metering is, of course, to deal with the challenges of the energy transition. And one of the key challenges is that we have new generators with PV, we have new load with electromobility and other ones. And to balance this, to create flexibility with mass data, this is, let's say, key for the success.
Okay. And then, Stephan, maybe switching gears just a tiny bit, what cybersecurity measures are essential to ensure the integrity of smart meter data? And should the industry address privacy concerns related to the increased use of smart meter data?
Yeah, well, cybersecurity is a key factor of the smart metering system. But I think Ingo can answer this question much more better than me. But I think, but in Germany we have a really high standard of cybersecurity. The home system is really secure. the regulatory standards from the BSI, the technische Richtlinie, also the ESMS system we have to implement in the utilities in the energy market. I think it's really high. But a key point is the addressing it to the private customers, so that they know their data is really secure. The data is anonymized. They can, but also have a transparency of their energy consumptions. And that would be a key role to provide this information to the customers, so that they know it's a really secure system, because the smart meter system has also two key facts. It's highly available and it's highly secure, and this, I think, these two properties they enable much more other businesses beyond all the energy systems, because when you have a system which is really highly secure, the smart meters have a lot of data insights, and on this data insights you can use you can build other use cases to provide them to the customers. But the key fact is that they have that they know that their data is really secure, otherwise they wouldn't do it.
And then, Ingo, did you also want to comment on this?
Yeah, I'm fully with him. Let's say very important here is that we are deploying an infrastructure. Yeah, and acceptance with the private households is when you have deployed an infrastructure which is in a way approved by authorities, and this is the BSI authority, which is approving smart metering security and privacy as well. So you have a certified device there out in the infrastructure. And this is, of course, a good platform which is developed then for all the use cases and for all the applications. And I think it's absolutely crucial for the acceptance of end customers that there is this, let's say, high level of certification and cybersecurity available.
And then also, Ingo, I think you'd be the best to talk about this is how can transparency in smart metering infrastructure and communication solutions enhance customer engagement and adoption? Again, particularly addressing the concerns around data privacy and energy use insights.
I think one point is very important. We have to take care that all the households get information how the systems look like. Yeah, we are good in technology, but not good in marketing on this side. There we have really to do something. Yeah, and of course the authorities have to support us there, but I think also all the customers, especially in the B2C market, like we have, for example, Tibber or other ones, who are directly in connection with the customers. Let's say, should support the customers with information how the system looks like. And if you have, let's say, transparency on this side, normally the acceptance is a high one.
Okay. And then we actually just have a question from the audience, which is, how are data analytics and AI expected to be used with smart meter data to improve grid reliability and optimize energy distribution?
Yeah. Let's say one application is already used. Of course, we get not only the information from the end customer, we use also the status information from the network. And if you have companies who are going for digital twins, for example, Envelio, they are developing systems for the network operators. Of course, they are using this data in combination with all the other data coming from the network. And of course, AI will be the next, let's say, step of development in the infrastructure. Mass data with all the informations, detailed informations, of course, AI will use it.
Okay. It sounded like someone else's mic went on?
Maybe I can make an addition to this, also in some way related to this question. In our way, we at Tibber are trying to do this is basically through something that we have called grid rewards. already in the Swedish market and the Dutch market, we are enabling customers to monetize the flexibility of their devices. So if they have a smart meter and if they have a smart steerable device, then they can, for example, just leave their EV plugged in, and we will provide the grid with the flexibility of their EV. For example, in case of an undercapacity in the grid, we can stop a couple thousands or 10,000s of EVs from charging, and thereby help to balance the grid. And of course, the revenues from them generated and paid out by the grid operators is then also shared with the end customers. So I think this is also a real use case, how basically data analytics and AI is working to support the grid.
Great. And we have one more question from the audience. In addition to energy companies, what role should tech companies and startups play in making smart meter technology more accessible and scalable? Maybe this one to Stephan?
Oh, well, the problem for startups in this field is we have a highly standardized market. We have high, secure processes, and I think startups could provide new ideas to the energy market, because we have big companies like the grid operators and the utility companies, but not all of them are very good in developing new products. So I think startups could play a key role in developing new products based on smart meter data, which for especially grid operators don't develop. So I think that would be a key role, and that would higher the value of the smart meters, the data, and the rollout as well. Because the more use cases we have, the more enhanced grid and rollout we have. So that's I think that's a role startups can play.
Yeah. I think go for smart applications is really the key thing. Yeah, with our system, with smart meter gateways and CLS gateways, we are offering the companies who are dealing with software, for example, a platform where they can put on their software like an app on an iPhone to bring their solution to the market. Yeah, because we will have at the end of the day a cyber-secured, high-performance platform, which a lot of possibilities for new companies with new ideas using this platform.
Nice. And we just have 2 minutes. So I guess, do you guys want to just share last thoughts?
No, I just want to say we thought about energy data marketplaces, like Ingo said, that the highly secure data or events are based there, and the new startups can take these data for their new products or use cases. And I think that would be the new role, as Ingo said, because the system we build right now.
And one statement I want to make: as always, we are challenged that Germany is let's say it's the last one in Europe. Yeah, but let's say if we go today to the infrastructure we are deploying, of course it's a challenging infrastructure, the smart grid infrastructure, and go to the Netherlands with their new next generation solution they are designing. It's more or less similar to what we have here in the German market: real time, cyber secured. Yeah, and of course with a lot of applications enabled by such an infrastructure. I think the next gen all over Europe will be to go for smart grid rollout and not only for smart meter rollout.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a great note to end this panel on. So thank you to all three of you for joining me. this afternoon. And for our viewers, we'll be back in a few minutes with our last panel for the conference.
Thank you.